isa pa sa maganda rin na nakita ko dito is yung sa aircon niya, yung controls ng aircon niya, ito kasi is digital na. So unlike dun sa mga parang knob na pinipihit-pihit, feeling ko mas maganda, mas klaseng tingnan itong digital na yung aircon vent niya. So and then isa pa, itong race din kasi may center armrest na siya, kaya kung may mga ilalagay kang gamit, pwede. However, ang isa lang sa na-observe ko na parang feeling ko kulang dito is wala silang nilagay sa gitna na cup holder. So para kasi sa akin essential 'yon eh, kapag may kape ka, so gusto mo dun mo ilalagay. So hindi ko naman kasi parang hindi naman bagay kung ilalagay mo yung kape dito sa yung nafi-flip sa may aircon vent kasi syempre yung kape mo lalamig na. And then isa pang downside nito, yung mga cup holders niya kasi kahit sa ang cup holders yung sa baba, yung sa side, dito, medyo maliit siya. So kung may tumbler ka na malaki, hindi siya mag-fit. Pero yung mga yung mga disposable na mineral water, since na-fold siya ng kaunti, nakakrample siya ng kaunti, nagkakasya naman siya. Pero yung mga matitigas na tumbler, hindi talaga magkakasya kapag malaki. So yun lang naman yung isa sa mga na-observe ko na downside nito. Maliit yung mga cup holders niya. And then, isa pang maganda dito sa interior is yung sa passenger sa likod, dalawang setting nung upuan mo, nare-recline siya ng kaunti lang naman. So sobrang kaunti lang naman. Pero added factor pa rin yun. And even yung sa cargo niya, yung sa trunk niya, dalawang setting din siya. Pwedeng nasa taas or pwedeng kapag kailangan mo ng medyo spacious na cargo, pwede mo siyang ibaba. And ako nga, meron akong experience na may binili kaming malaking regalo. So yung regalo na yon is parang Durabox siya na parang 4-layer. So hindi siya kasya sa trunk. So ang ginawa ko, tinanggal ko yung reserve na gulong and then nilagay ko siya, shoot naman siya doon. So yung reserve na gulong, sinakay ko na lang doon sa isa naming sasakyan kasi kasama naman namin. So nagkasya ngayon yung regalo. So kaya yung cargo space nito sa likod, talagang marami kang maikakarga rito. So yun yung isa pa sa nagustuhan ko sa interior nitong si Toyota Race. So all in all, for me, satisfied naman ako with the interior of this Toyota Race. Okay, in terms of performance, pag-usapan naman natin ang performance si Toyota Race. So, una, pagdating sa acceleration, since ito kasi ang magandang advantage itong variant na nakuha ko, itong nakuha kong model is manual siya, manual transmission. So, in terms of acceleration, wala ka talagang hahanapin pa sa acceleration nito. So kung hindi ka naman may kipagkarerang talagang todong karera, yung usual lang na gagamitin mo for overtaking na hindi ka mabitin, ang acceleration nito is enough, sapat na, 'di ba? Kaya goods naman yung acceleration nito. And pagdating naman sa top speed nito, hindi ko alam kung ilan yung pinaka maximum na limit ng top speed nito. But ako, in my experience, nagawa ko na magkabag 180 km/h dito. So nagawa ko yon nung nag-travel kami sa Isabela. Pagdating na pagpauwi namin, parang si LLX ata yon, Central Luzon Link Expressway. Basta hindi pa siya partially operated pa lang siya. Hindi pa siya fully operated na expressway. Wala pa nga ang bayad yung mga tolls. So dun ko siya trinay. So 180 km/h ata yung nagawa ko dito sa sasakyan na to. So kung sa bilis ang pag-uusapan, mabilis din naman po si Toyota Race. Hindi naman kayo porket 1.2 liter lang ito na 3-cylinder is parang maghahanap kayo sa speed. Ako parang hindi nyo, kumbaga hindi mo masasagad ang speed nito. So kung dito lang naman sa road natin dito sa Pilipinas. Ayan. And then In terms of handling naman, maganda tong lumaro sa kurbada. So hindi kayong parang mag-feel na parang tutumba ka or mag-roll over yung sasakyan mo. So hindi mo siya masyadong ma-feel with this Toyota Race. So siguro dahil malaki yung gulong niya, rim 16, and isa pang feature nito na siguro nagiging helpful is yung traction control. And na-experience ko na nga na trinay ko siya na in-off yung traction control. And trinay ko siyang i-swerve ng ganun. Kapag ganun pala yung nangyari na parang may sudden na hindi
Breakfast with Milo? Unskippable yan!
Welcome back mga paps! This is a full in-depth review of the 2022 Toyota Race eCVT from an owner's perspective. Huwag na nating patagalin. Intro, pasok! Konting history muna tayo. Toyota Race was launched nito lang February 4, 2022 sa Pinas bilang isang subcompact crossover SUV. Nagsimula itong ibenta noon pang 2019 sa Japan, Indonesia, Cambodia, Vietnam at iba pang mga bansa tulad ng US at Mexico. Ito ay rebadged Japanese brand na Daihatsu Rocky tulad ng Toyota Wigo, Toyota Rush, Toyota Avanza, Toyota Veloz at iba pa na pagmamay-ari din ng Toyota. Ito ay nirebadge din ng Malaysia bilang Perodua Ativa. Additional info, common na sa Toyota ang rebadging tulad ng Toyota Supra sa BMW Z4, Toyota 86 sa Subaru BRZ at iba pa. Siyempre, hindi naman basta papayag ang Toyota na madungisan ang iniingatan nilang karangalan when it comes to automotive industry. Okay, simulan muna natin sa exterior dito sa front fascia niya. Kung mapapansin nyo, ang Race ay more on angular and aggressive designs. Dito sa hood, kitang-kita yung dalawang distinctive lines niya. Ang headlight niya ay halogen for the E variant. Nasa inner part ng headlight yung turn signal lights niya. Dito naman sa baba, mayroon siya plastic aggressive design kung saan may front sensor sa upper part na turbo variant lang ang meron. LED daytime running lights sa mid part at halogen fog lamp sa pinaka bottom. Kapansin-pansin din na malaking grills niya na nakadagdag sa aggressiveness niya with the front chin both made in matte black finish. Dito naman tayo sa side profile niya. Ang sukat ng haba niya ay 4,030mm, lapad na 1,710mm, may taas na 1,605mm at ang wheelbase niya ay 2,525mm. May emblem ito sa fender na dual VVTi, parang iVTEC ng Honda pero dual. May matte black wheel art guard.
Your favorite game is becoming better than ever. Meet the brand new Ragnarok Online Prime. Prepare to enjoy the improved renewal mechanics, champion monsters, third classes, a new race, and more. The server is open and adventures have begun. Get ready to embark on a new journey through Rune Midgard. Here, everything will be as you like, including new exciting content no one has ever seen before. Ragnarok Online Prime. Your road to glory starts now.
He received the creative mode skill and became the strongest adventurer. Hey guys, this is Batman and today I'm bringing you the anime Ordake Heineru Kakuchi Dungeon. And man, making the video for this anime, I remember the time I went on a podcast there with friends and said that anime was all about realizing some kind of strange Japanese heart feeling. But this anime overdoes it, so watch this video to the end. But before you start this video, leave a like or comment so that YouTube understands that you're not a robot watching my video. And I know it's great just to watch the video using me as if I were a job girl who works making videos for you. But even at the moment of interacting with the job girls, the guys comment something, like it was good, something like that. But I have a video with 200k views and 100 comments. YouTube sees this happening and it hurts my channel. You know, now that I've done that insane begging at the beginning of this video, I'm even going to ask my wife to beg here. Go on, comment something, anything. I know you didn't hear her say it, but she really did. I made my wife come here and ask for a comment. Do the good thing for us. Go and comment so YouTube can see that you're not robots. Now I'm going to stop winding you up and summarize this whole puzzle for you. Well, our Japanese hero this time is a wimp who discovered a hidden dungeon, where he met a powerful being who taught him how to use haki. This filthy hero's name is No Stadia, and he begins his story as the son of a low-ranking nobleman, with no hope for the future, no illegal magical abilities, and only one magic, the Great Sage, and since his future is totally uncertain, he decides to become a librarian. After graduating from prep school, he gets dressed and goes downstairs to find his sad father, who informs him that his position as librarian has been stolen by the Viscount's son. As in most aristocratic societies, every nobleman has a position for which he is respected, but unfortunately they only need to have one title, which was the base of the food chain, making it possible for anyone of higher rank to surpass them in society. To sum it up for you, because he was a poor noble, No lost his job to another, higher-ranking noble. This news made our hero very depressed, and obviously the boy didn't stop blaming his father, calling him a useless, good-for-nothing father, saying that it would be better if he went and smoked a cigarette. His father heard this and tried to pacify him, to calm him down. Then No asked his father what he would do, and that's when Alicia, his sister who is completely in love with No, arrived saying that she would beat up the Viscount for her beloved brother. However, everyone told her that she shouldn't upset the nobles, as that would only make things worse. So she suggested that he take the entrance exam for the Academy of Heroes. However, even she didn't know that he was a shit, and that he wasn't fit to become a knight or an adventurer. Although this was an opportunity to become a hero for the rest of his life, he didn't know he could do it. However, Alicia managed to convince him that he should at least try. In the city, he met Emma and her huge plot, and for some reason she was very happy to become a librarian alongside No. And although they are both friends, the title Emma carries is that of a baron, and they were only childhood friends because their parents got on well. When she talks about her new job as librarian, No reveals that he's been replaced by the Viscount's son, which has left her visibly depressed, which has made the boy wonder why she's getting sadder about this news than he is. She then revealed that she had good news about his Great Sage ability. This skill was like an encyclopedia, just like Raphael's Tensei Shitari slime, but he couldn't use it, because whenever he used this skill, he was hit by a headache that numbed his soul and completely fried his brain. Reading an old book, Emma discovered that the Great Sage Merlin also suffered from headache, but he managed to control the pain by kissing his wife. She then asked him if he wanted to try it, but the idiot had to make her repeat it, leaving her embarrassed about talking about them kissing again. Our Japanese hero finally understood and was about to try the kiss, but Emma stopped him and asked them to move. When they reached a covered spot, he went ahead and kissed her, but because this was the beginning of his best moments in life, he forgot that he should test his ability. She reminds him, so he activates the skill and asks Merlin man how he can get stronger to pass the academy exam, to which he responds by instructing him to explore a hidden dungeon. When he asks for the location, which was another question, he gets a severe migraine and asks Emma for another first aid kiss. Then, using the great sage's instructions, he located the hidden dungeon and recalled the spell to unlock the huge door blocking his way. He then shouted the magic word, which activated the door, causing it to open. Once inside, an unsubtle female voice guided him to the second floor, and because he was an idiot, he blindly followed the voice until he reached a room where he found a single mother in chains. At first he thought she was dead, but she wasn't getting rotten. However, out of nowhere, using telepathy, she asked him to touch her head, and when he did, she spoke to him telepathically, introducing herself as Olivia, a super adventurer who had somehow found this hidden dungeon on her own. She killed the monsters inside, but was dumb enough to fall into a trap that held her captive for 200 years. The Noir now wanted to undo her chains, but she revealed that she had died, because the chains are called death chains, which keep the wearer alive but dead at the same time. A complete contradiction. When he asked her why she had called him, she revealed that she wanted to develop a plot with him, because that would make the story much better, and it would go viral in Japan. However, our insignificant piece of infertility ignored her comment. She assumed that he was a powerful adventurer, as he managed to discover this dungeon on his own, but then revealed to him that it was his skill that led him to this dungeon, and apart from that great sage ability, he's weaker than an ant. Seeing this, the childless mother offered to give him her abilities since she was trapped in these chains that kept her alive and dead at the same time, so she couldn't do anything. She asked him to connect his forehead to her forehead, and the moment he did, her abilities instantly passed to him. And then she explained that her abilities can create other abilities, pass abilities onto others, and even edit them. Minecraft's famous creative mode. However, this skill has a certain peculiarity. It uses life points, and when his life points reach 0, he will die. Therefore, he must always do things that help him recharge his life point. This includes eating good things, living incredible romances, or other things that make him feel truly happy. I'm so happy when you like the video. It's so good. Node quickly checked his life points, which were 550, and she asked him to try out his new skill to see if everything was working. Elsewhere, he found a slime monster, a slime, so he created a stone bullet using 50 life points and fired it at the slime monster. And although he managed to defeat it, he felt his vitality being taken away in return, and even needed to rest for a while. At home, the cursed man used his own sister, who was obsessed with him, to recharge his life points, but this turned out not to be very effective. He then meets up with Emma to test the same experiment, but the girl thought he had called her on a date and put on a very amazing outfit, which reveals her Brazilian origin. He then asks if he can hug her, and she accepts. And this increases his life points more than with his own sister, which proves that he really didn't enjoy watching the last episode of Osuganosora. To be honest, I enjoyed it. It was amazing. He remembers Olivia telling him that he needed to earn 300 points if he wanted to gain an ability called All-Seeing Eyes, an ability that would allow him to scan information about all living and non-living beings. He then activated his All-Seeing Eyes and used them to check Emma's status. At this point, she complains that her shoulders are stiff, so the overzealous boy uses his ability to make her mattresses the size of peanuts. He then tells her that small details are also important, but as he wasn't a big fan, she asks him to undo what was done, which ended up wasting her life points. On the day of the entrance exam, the examiner ordered everyone to form a team of 3 people and told them to collect materials from monsters that would be used to assess them. And since it was automatic failure if they came back empty-handed, he tried to approach some of the guys, but they didn't like poor people and ignored him like the real trash he is. Just then, Emma shows up and reveals that she quit her job just to be with him, and the moment he sees Emma, another girl called Lenore offers to join them. But when Emma tries to introduce herself, she tells him that she doesn't usually remember the names of secondary characters. As soon as the exam started, Lenore ditched them to buy some monster materials from the market, but Emma told her to wait for him while he hunted some monsters. And because he was a very unlucky guy, the first monster he encountered in the dungeon was a level 999 Dead Reaper, and such a creature had the power to apply the death status with a single blow. He tried to avoid all its blows and wanted to negate the ability to kill with a single blow, but he didn't have the life points to do so he created an ability that made his enemy's body heavier, and it ended up weighing his body down so much that the creature could barely move. So he plucked up his courage, went to the Reaper, and then created a huge stone bullet and hit his enemy, and it really worked. And when it came time to reveal everyone's ranking, Nor thought they might fail, as Olivia said that the the Reaper's head was only good for making the tree grow in Minecraft. However, everyone was shocked when the team beat the entrance exam record. Thanks to the skull he reluctantly added to the mix of items. When they got home, everyone's mood improved, especially his father, who was happy that his son wasn't as useless as he was. However, the next problem to be solved was the insanely expensive tuition fee. The next day, during breakfast, Alice was standing over Noor while his parents watched them. Alice then decided that she would be the new head of the house. Thanks to her new achievement, this drove their father crazy. When Noor talked about the tuition fee, the old man said he had some money saved up. However, when he learned that the tuition fee was 300,000 fantasy world coin, the old man revealed that he would need at least a year to get the money if he didn't spend it all on gambling first. So Noor decided to solve the problem himself, rather than wait a year for his father to probably fail to come up with the money. He then headed to the dungeon to find Olivia, who suggested that he sell rare monster items, but he explained that he didn't want to draw attention to himself, saying that he let someone else take recognition for the skeleton head. With no other option, she directed him to the Adventurers Guild so that he could turn around. There, she found an intimidating man who was blocking the pretty receptionist's view. So the girl called Lola asked who he was, and after he introduced himself, she explained that the Odin Guild has different categories of adventurers who carry out different types of work. She explained the classification system, and then brought him a form to fill in. When he realized he had to write down his skills, he was hesitant, so Lola revealed that any information provided would be confidential. But when she heard him write down Olivia's skills, she switched into serious mode, asking why he was impersonating Olivia, who was the pride and joy of the guild. Seeing this, I immediately thought, well, isn't this supposed to be confidential? Why is this dog barking this at the guild reception? But anyway, I ignored that and carried on watching, seeing Noi say that Olivia is her master. However, this only made Lola even more annoyed, thinking he was trying to test her patience. She then picks up a book to test whether he's lying, and Noi asks her what would happen if she was wrong, and in response, she says that she would become his slave for the rest of her life, knowing for sure that he's a liar. In the end, he puts his hands on the book, which reveals all her abilities, causing the boy to immediately demand his reward, but she just lifts her skirt for him, saying that this is all he'll get. At least his life points increased when interacting with this crazy woman. After registering, he revealed that he was desperate for money, so she suggested that he hunt down a rainbow stork. Although she explained that this was actually a slightly more difficult mission, she switched to serious mode and said she would prepare a special gift if he came back alive. Probably another lie from that dog. The worst kind of woman she is, who promises but doesn't deliver. Once there, he thought about using the Great Sage to get more tips. However, the headache would ruin his day, so he decided to create a skill to cancel out the migraine. However, when he realized that it would cost 300 of his vitality, he hesitated at first, but ended up creating the skill and then activated the Great Sage, which allowed him to easily locate the stalkers. While he was catching them, Emma appeared in a slightly different way. She then asks why he became an adventurer without consulting her, which prompts him to say that it's not a woman's thing, as the greatest adventurer was a woman, and she's trapped alive and dead at the same time in a dungeon. However, Emma broke down completely in the middle by mentioning the promise they made to always stay together. She then offered to go on and ease his pain, but he said he'd already solved that by creating a skill, but she still insisted that he could kiss her at any time. It was at this point that he revealed that he had a slight headache, which made her perk up, as this would give her a good reason to exchange saliva with him. Back at the guild, Lola presented him with 250,000 fantasy world coin, which was the most money he had ever seen in his life. She also teased him, pushing her whole plot against him, but Emma said she wouldn't allow a girl with bad taste in fashion to outdo her. Come on, Emma, Lola's only wearing the guild clothes. Emma, man. Obviously Lola didn't let it go either, and they ended up drawing attention to themselves, so No decided to shower the girls with compliments, one after the other, which made them both calm down. Soon, they were on their way to the next mission site, and were suddenly attacked by some ugly goblins. So, while Emma drew her double blade, Node used a stone bullet to blast his enemy, until out of nowhere, the other goblin was defeated by a huge unicorn rabbit. He quickly used his all-seeing eyes to observe his level, and begged Emma to back off, but the girl carries a large IQ deficit due to the buffs she carries in front of her, so she didn't want to back off. She revealed that she was smart and didn't want to be treated like a background character, so she took on the rabbit by dodging its blows, since she was much faster. She then used her spells to blast him several times, but this only irritated the rabbit badly, so he jumped up and caused an earthquake with his body, and when the rabbit made a dangerous move to finish her off, the knot sent him away with a stone bullet. They then took shelter in the forest, where Emma started to get in a bad mood, and to make her feel better, he informed her that this monster has a core, and that she can't reach it with her blows. And since a man's words never reach a woman, he decided to sneak up on her, greatly improving the girl's dagger skills. But this cost a lot of life points, so he opted to edit the skill, which cost a lot less in improvement cost. He then revealed that he could make her strong, but that she had to do something in return. She promised to cooperate, since she was already completely in love with him and had kissed him several times. And when he said that he would have to nibble on her ear, she started to complain, saying that he had better things to do. Ah boy, but in the end, it was the ear bite. When he did this, her screams attracted the rabbit, so he tried to hurry away, but it was too late, as they were attacked from behind. The evil rabbit pounced on the knot, ready to tear a hole in it, but he created a stone barrier, and at the last minute, he quickly improved Emma's stats. And when the stone barrier broke super fast, Emma took a single shot at the evil rabbit, which solved the whole situation they had put themselves in. That night, when they handed over the rabbit's horn to receive their reward, Lola was surprised that they had managed to accomplish this mission on their own. At that moment, Emma surprised everyone by thanking Lola for motivating her to work hard, and the two ended up settling their differences. The knot then brought the rabbit's meat and offered it to the guild so that everyone could try the rare and bucolic meat that this cursed creature had. After giving him the reward, everyone congratulated him, as he could now enroll in the Academy of Magic. However, the atmosphere of love was so comforting that he promised to thank Olivia for changing his old life as a shitty baronet into that of a strong and respected adventurer. Arriving at the academy after paying the registration fee, Emma suddenly made the knot bend when a high-ranking student walked past. Although the knot didn't remember her, Emma explained that she was Maria Albert, the daughter of a Dew. On hearing this, he isolated his all-seeing eyes to observe her statuses, but he was shocked to learn that she had a curse that would kill her on her 16th birthday. The next day, the knot woke up feeling the weight of the world on him, but it was only Alice and her big head trying to smother him while he slept. As usual, she was all over him, and he didn't care, because even if she was his sister, it gave him enough pleasure to increase his life points, which is really suspicious. Out of the blue, the shitty father opened the door and found them in a very suspicious position, so he simply closed the door and shouted in frustration. After that, in town, he met up with a very excited Emma, who was dying to kiss him first thing in the morning, so they went to the nearby forest to earn some life points. And unfortunately, at the Heroes Academy, they have to wear badges based on their position in the school, which is too bad, because Node in particular was treated like crap by everyone, and those who approached him only wanted to know about Emma's big plot. So, while everyone was boasting about their position, Node sat there, cursing his father who hadn't built anything in his lifetime, until a guy approached him. But as soon as he saw his worthless badge, he disappeared, and when Maria entered the place, she greeted Node using his full name, which was honestly surprising to everyone, and as Radiant Maria recognized him, a brainless Four Eyes decided to introduce himself. However, nobody wanted him to introduce himself. Noble extras be damned. During the introductory class, the instructor on show, called Elna, revealed that she had once been a mercenary, and no one had asked her. That said, she promised to whip them into shape while licking her lips, as if she were a villain or something. For the first lesson, she proposed a self-defense demonstration, and as Node stood out for radiating poverty, she decided to make him her punching bag. She asked him to draw his sword and attack, and he knew that it was impossible to be stronger than an instructor. But as she told him to do it, he decided to check her stats, which were consistent with those of a mercenary. So he went all out on her, but she got past him using a simple skill, which in English sounds incredible, but in Portuguese is called passo para trás. She says she has to get him to try out this skill, and immediately throws herself at him, but he can't even react and is hit in a very delicious way. However, she heals him immediately and promises a reward to whoever manages to pull off her defense move, and as expected, Node and the crowd of rich nobles were all motivated. He then created this skill for himself to use, using his life points, and managed to perform the backward step skill in a single attempt. But unfortunately, his reward was a butt massage, which according to her, many adventurers wanted. For Node, this was like going to heaven for a second, but she was heavy, and her weight almost exploded his balls. However, when she stood up, Node realized that his life points had increased a lot. In short, he really enjoyed being treated like a park bench. After that, when it came time to pair up, Elna insisted that Emma and No couldn't pair up because they were dating. They had to correct the misunderstanding, and revealed that they were just childhood friends. She also prevented Maria and her partner, whose partner is called Manny, from pairing up, and then the number one pervert in the class approached her. However, she refused the invitation, saying she wasn't worthy of her position, and so she decided to pair up with Node, who was an unworthy loser perfect for pairing up with her. So as soon as they held hands, Alice's spider sensor activated, and she sensed that her brother's chastity was in danger. Everyone looked at her, and she said it was nothing. After all, no one would believe that she had a sixth sense about about everything her brother did for their first exercise together. They were going to play judo with each other, but No was not afraid because he had bought a skill called passive defense, which was cheap but protected him against cheap attacks. So, when Maria threw him, he fell on his butt on the ground, and as expected, something strange had to happen. What happened was Maria falling on top of him, making him feel the taste of paradise. Maria was quickly rescued by the teacher and her companion, and when she was being taken away, No realized that it was the curse that was slowly limiting his life. He tried to edit it, but that would cost 4 times his life points. So he asked the great sage what was the most efficient way to gain life points, and the shameless sage told him to line up all the girls present and harass them all at once. If he did that, he would gain a total of 2,000 life points. However, the Knot claimed that those 2,000 life points were not worth his imprisonment, and because he had used the great sage's ability, he got a headache, so he begged Imo to kiss him. But since they were in the middle of the crowd, she felt embarrassed, so he stole a kiss from her because he couldn't bear the pain. This public behavior made the instructor Elna super angry, so she forced the Knot to do 50 laps around the arena. Later that day, they went to the guild, where Lola was shocked to be seen without a single pound of makeup on her face, and we only found out thanks to another gossipy receptionist who completely betrayed Lola, saying that her friend is ugly without makeup. After explaining Maria's case to Lola, she revealed that one of her friends is a cleric who can perform an exorcism to end the curse. She also said that her friend is very busy, and that for some reason Elna likes to deal with cases involving curses. And when they asked her what the problem was, she said that her friend kept it a secret. So, the Knot decided to do everything possible to save Maria before her 16th birthday, which would be in a week. After that, Lola arrived at a temple, where there was a huge crowd of people waiting in line to be cured, while some people left there feeling renewed. Inside the temple, Lola found Luna, who seemed exhausted, and was trying to rest after spending so much energy healing people. Meanwhile, Node returned to the dungeon to visit Olivia, who was irritated with him, as it had been a long time since he had last visited her. She complained, saying that she was very bored because of him. So, he apologized and explained the problem with the Duke's daughter, which was why he was busy. Upon hearing his story, she stated that the curse could have been passed down from her ancestors, and only took effect when it reached her. To undo it, she estimated that he would spend about 10,000 life points, which he would not be able to obtain so easily. So, she suggested that he resort to a cleric. He then revealed that this was his plan, before asking her what clerics are like, to which she replied that they are usually elves, and their beauty is perfect for developing a plot that accumulates a lot of life points. No wondered what it would be like to do such a thing, but Olivia didn't stop, and explained the things she normally did to accumulate life points quickly. This made No bleed from his nose and ask if she was a monster. Well, back to the main topic of increasing his life points, she suggested that he create a forbidden skill called Luck of a Bastard, which he activated immediately, without knowing what it did. Once in the city, he met Emma, who said she was late, so he hurried and ended up tripping and falling in a very comfortable place. At that moment, his new skill activated like crazy, causing the girls around him to give him a lot of life points. No realized that this was the effect of his new ability, so in order to prevent this ability from making his life chaos, he used his editor ability to adjust his ability so that it would not activate in serious situations. Even so, he was happy about the current events, which caused Emma to argue with him, while Lola and Luna watched from a distance, with Luna saying that No is the type of man she liked. After things calmed down, Lola introduced her cleric friend to the duo, and as they walked to a restaurant, Emma couldn't help but notice that she was being defeated by Luna in all aspects of women, and Emma realized that she only had her larger inflatable balloons to compete with. Inside the restaurant, as No explains that the cursed person is Maria, Luna reveals that she had already examined her some time ago, but decided not to help her, and when asked why, she says it wasn't because of her lack of ability, but simply because she couldn't lift Maria's 16-year-old death curse. She then asks how Maria is dealing with the situation, but No explains that she will die when she turns 16. Upon hearing this, Luna became dejected and discouraged, and Lola tried to cheer her up, reminding her that she heals hundreds of people every day, so she shouldn't feel responsible for just one person. No was also worried, so he used his all-right eyes to check Luna's stats, which allowed him to learn about the condition for removing curses, which meant that her lifespan would be reduced reduced based on the strength of the curse she paid, so Maria's curse could only be lifted in exchange for Luna's death. On the way back, No assumed that even the elf's lifespan would not cover the disadvantage of Maria's curse, and wondered what he could do to help both Luna and Maria. However, Luna changed her mind and decided to help Maria, which was honestly shocking. He then asked to spend some time alone with her and chat. In an alley, he revealed that he had looked at her status, discovering that she risked her own life to heal people, but she did not let him finish her sentence. With a smile on her face, and explained to No the joy of saving people's lives. She told him about her mother, who was also a cleric who had to face curses until her lifespan ran out. However, she said it with a smile on her face, and stated that she would give her life to save Maria, just as her mother did for others. Just then, an accident at a workplace happened, and when they arrived there, they saw a seriously injured child. Then, Luna begged her to heal the little boy. The elf took her weapons and used a skill called Healing Shot to heal him once and for all. Everyone was impressed by her skill, but suddenly she went mute and fell face down on the ground, and when No helped her get up, he realized that she had a chronic case of anxiety, fear, unhappiness, and depression. He took another look at her stats, and noticed that the fear, depression, and anxiety skill always activates when she spends too much mana. And after Luna returned to normal, she apologized for her embarrassing display of fear, anxiety, and depression, and begged everyone to forget what happened. She then regained her spirits and said that she would heal Maria, and seeing that she was trying too hard, No suggested that they look for an alternative, and opened his mouth to reveal to everyone that Maria could die if she performed this curse removal. Upon hearing this, Lola pushed her friend against the wall for keeping this secret from her all these years, and when she was preparing to slap her friend, she went over and gave her a warm hug. While they enjoyed the moment, No took another look at his abilities, trying to figure out a way to make her survive by healing Maria. He then figured out that the best bet would be to replace the disadvantage of lifespan with her finances, so every time she healed someone, she would lose a certain amount of money. He then revealed that he has a way to make everything work, but he doesn't have enough life points. He quickly gathered the girls and gave them a list of things they could do to increase their life points, and asked them to figure out a way to help him. Although they had no idea what to do, Lola remembered an event where they could easily make money, and explained that it was a pride event for her Harry. This event was always held in a coliseum at dawn, where several nobles gathered to judge who was the damn noble who had the best Harry. Everyone who attended this place had fun, hating and humiliating those who had succeeded in the romance. These people formed a kind of cult to feel better, and just thinking about what could happen if he performed at this place with some kind of Harry. The noble was afraid of being offended by everyone. Meanwhile, Amani soon discovered that Maria's health was deteriorating even more, as the curse was so strong that she could even feel death coming. Back at Harry's event, everyone was eager to praise the candidates. So, Lola